Hey y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge, and we are about to make a Froe. Start. Now, if you don't know what a Froe is used, it's a splitting tool, splitting wood. You know, you drive it in the grain and kind of tweak it, and it makes boards come off, or you can use it to split kindling. One of the most common things that it's known for is when you're splitting shake shingles to do a roof, wooden shingles for a roof. You take the round log and you split it in sections. Now, this particular Froe is made to be on a tomahawk handle, and this is another one of the things that I'm sending to my friends at Dead Men. That's a YouTube channel. There'll be a link in the description, and their project they're doing up in Alaska. Anyway, when I was talking about doing this, Gary Malone suggested, why don't you make a bunch of tools that go on a tomahawk handle, Froe and several other things, and I was like, that is a ridiculously good idea. So this is the first one of those tools that I'm making, and it's a Froe, so let's get to making it. I have picked an interesting piece of material to be our beginning material for our Froe. This is about 15 3/4 or 40 centimeters long. It's about 4 inches or 10 centimeters at its narrowest point. And this material is off of the bottom of a pressurized cylinder. So it's a lot thicker on one end than the other. It's about 3/8 here, or I don't know, it's like 9 centimeters. Let me see. Okay, it's like a centimeter thick up here, and it goes down to less than a centimeter down here. You understand, it's a slope, it's fat, it gets smaller. So it's also a good medium carbon steel. So yeah, for what that's worth. The trouble is, it's in a weird, crazy shape. That is close enough. Alright, well that's not square, but it's certainly more square than it was. Our antique Froe, the blade is about 10.5 inches long, or 27 centimeters, and it's about 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimeters. So this is going to be a good amount of material, but we're probably going to cut this at 2.5 inches and then forge it from there. So one of the more fun things that people say to me when I'm making something out of whatever you want to call it, recycled, reclaimed, whatever material, is, yeah, but the material's free. It's not free. There's a lot that goes into processing this free material. So all I'm doing here is I'm marking where I want the transition between the blade and the eye to be. So I'm center punching this, and I'm going to do it on both sides. Still fairly hot, just so I can keep up with it easy while it's forging. Jewell is helping me. I'm going to go ahead and start a fuller here. Jewell's helping me hold it. Pulling off fast. Let's stick her back in. So I'm using a top tool, a fuller, to make that transition between the eye and the blade. That's about as much of that as I need to do. Jewell helped me by holding that. Thank you, Jewell.
You're welcome.
Yes, it is. we've got this material for the eye drawn out and thins down pretty good. So I'm gonna take a break and let this cool down, and then we'll come and we'll start working on the single bevel that will be the, whoa, I'm gonna just throw it on the floor. How about we do that? Taper it down a little more just on the end so I can hold it with some box jowl tongs easily. It's gonna be a single bevel, so I'm bringing it to the edge of the anvil here and it on this way. About where we want our forging wise for the blade, so we're gonna let that cool down, then we'll do the eye in a little bit. I want to know how much material I need for my eye, so I've wrapped a piece of wire around my handle. Now I can straighten that out and measure it, and I'll know how much material I need for the inside of my eye. 4.5 inches. 4 3/4. Cut that off there. Okay, it's cut. I'm gonna fold it this way, so I'm gonna put a little bevel up here. There we go. Doesn't have to be full, doesn't have to be perfect, just a little bevel. Are expecting me to forge weld this at this point. Well, I'm not going to. I'm gonna MIG it. Once this is MIG welded, we can then drift this whole thing to our handle size. Doing the welding for me is my kid, Jewell. Jewell finished welding school and now she's a piece of equipment in the shop.
I got it deep, but I want to get it better so there's more material there.
Okay. Jewell did 2 passes, so she's got maximum penetration and strength in this thing. Hey, Jewell.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jewell.
You're welcome.
Okay, so here's our welded eye. Now we need to drift it. I want to use this tomahawk drift. But first I'm gonna have to get this spread out enough to take it. And since we've got this lip here, we've got this piece of 2-inch tubing with 3/16 wall, and that's gonna be used as a block for me to set this on top of my swage block to drift this. So let's get it warm. seat this in here real quick and then monkey with this eye a little. You ever do something with such confident stupidity that there was no excuse for it? Well, I just did. So, I mean, I even went into making this. I thought about doing this, how I was going to drift this, having to drive down with this lip here for a couple of days, and then I just drifted it from this direction so that I could put the handle in going this way. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. The handle needs to go this way on the Froe. And I know this. This is the thing I know. But I just confidently, like a moron, did it the wrong way. So I gotta throw this back in the forge and drift it from this way. Just because I'm an idiot. That's the sole purpose. Because I'm an idiot. Alright. Let's see here. Yeah, it was a lot easier. Well, maybe. Yep. Could have just done that from the get-go. So since the plan is not to harden this, I've heated the whole thing. And I'm gonna let it cool off in the forge so that'll get everything nice and normalized. Now I'm going to work on the edge of this thing, and I'm going to start off using a cupstone, which is a big rock, on an angle grinder. You don't have to do this, but I don't get to use this much, so I'm going to use my cupstone. It's got most of this side evened out, so we will go to the next side. So where a cupstone really excels is you've got high spots, and this really kind of holds you accountable without putting a lot of thought into it. As long as you keep it flat, it's only going to take off the high spots until you get everything even. I use cupstone a lot after I've forged bush hog blades, forged them back out, and then I'll hit them with a cupstone to even everything out. So it's perfect for this Froe. We'll let this cool off and then straighten this edge out and then go back to grinding on her. Well, my 2x72 is still down, but this 2x48 from Hercules, Harbor Freight, has been doing a great job, so I'm going to use that. Something to keep in mind with a tool like a Froe is we're not trying to get it to a razor edge. It's basically a splitting edge. So you got a lot more leeway in the grinding. Slacken the belt on the 130 and kind of blend this now. Well, there we go. She's all finished up. You can see the bevel I put on it. Now, I didn't a razor edge, but it doesn't have to be because it's for splitting. This isn't for whittling. But that's about where we want it. Let's try her out now. This is a pretty old piece of hickory. Using a Garland number 4 here. Splitting right through her. Whoop. Oh, there we go. Let's readjust this camera. All right. Well, she froze. Well, there we have it. I like it. I think it looks rustic enough, and I think it'll give years of service. Now, I said this in the video, but I want to reiterate it. You don't have to use high carbon steel to make a Froe. You want it to be easy to sharpen. You're not, you're not chopping with it. You're not carving with it. It's basically a long wedge on a stick. So if you want to learn more about Froes, I recommend getting one of the Foxfire books, the first one, and look at them there. So what's your opinion? Have you ever made a Froe? I've made some before, but it's been a long time. But this is kind of exciting. I really appreciate Gary's suggestion to a bunch of tools with a tomahawk handle, so I'm probably going to be making multiple sets of these, and I like a Froe. I used them splitting wood many years ago, so I'm kind of, it's an exciting thing. One thing I would do different is I would put the bevel on before I forge and weld the eye. I would get most of this grinding done before I did that, because it was difficult with the contact wheel on that Hercules grinder to get in close to the eye. So that's the only thing I'm going to do different on the next one I make. But anyway, I hope y'all got something out of this, and y'all behave yourselves.